สวัสดีค่ะขอต้อนรับเข้าสู่การอบรมครูผู้สอนภาษาอังกฤษซึ่งจัดโดยมูลนิธิการศึกษาทางไกลผ่านดาวเทียมและบริษัท TOT จำกัดมหาชน Welcome you all to the Video Conference Teacher Training Program organized by the Distance Learning Foundation and TOT Public Company Limited. Today, we are honored to have Professor Dr. Leslie Beckman, the Director of E-Learning from the University of Oregon, to be our guest speaker. But before the session starts, I would like to invite Dr. Monchai Nosong, the Deputy CEO of the TOT Public Company Limited, to give a welcoming address to all of us. Please, Dr. Monchai.
Thank you. Associate Professor Narapon Chan Ocha, Vice Chairman of Distance Learning Foundation. Associate Professor Chaliao Si Pibun Chon, Advisor on Training and Development for Teachers on Distance Learning. Professor Leslie Beckman, Expert Lecturer on English Teaching. All English teachers in this meeting room and Klai Kangwon School, Hua Hin, Prachuap Khiri Khan Province, and audience teachers throughout the country. It is my great pleasure to participate in this opening ceremony on English Teacher Training through Video Conference 2014. TOT is always pleased to be a main supporter for network and venue in this video conference by Distance Learning Foundation. For the last 12 years, TOT is in close cooperation with Distance Learning Foundation in terms of venue, technology, personnel, as well as budget to support number of projects. It has been achieved the objective of corporate social responsibility. The projects attain the success at the satisfactory level. To this end, I would like to express the congratulations to all English teachers who participate in this training and hope that all of you would bring forward the knowledge from this training to further develop your career. And also, I'm looking forward to meeting you again in another course organized by the foundation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monchai. The topic of the session today is professional development for English language teachers in today's digital world. And our guest lecturer is Dr. Leslie Beckman. As I said, she is the Director of E-Learning, and she has been into technology in English language teaching for many years. And she is one of the renowned experts in this English language teaching world. So I would like you to welcome all to welcome Dr. Leslie Beckman. Dr. Leslie, please.
Okay, thank you, Narapon, for that lovely introduction. I'd like to give thanks to TOT and to the Royal Thai Distance Learning Foundation for inviting me back here again today. I've had the pleasure of working with audiences and colleagues in this very room on other occasions, and also remotely online. And it's really wonderful to see so many familiar faces in the audience here today. We have with us helping some English language fellows from different parts of Thailand, the north and the south. We have Ajahn Alex and Ajahn Ed with us. So we'll all be kind of working as a team today in the room, hoping to make the presentation interactive and useful. Okay, all right. I can do that, yes, thank you. All right, so we're going to be switching at this point, I think, to the PowerPoint slides. Also would like to specifically welcome our audience in Hua Hin. Thank you for joining us as well today. Do we have a point person or a leader on the Hua Hin side that we can look to for assistance? Who would that person be? Can that?
Yeah, Ajahn Wari, you see her on the screen.
Okay, great.
So I'm here in this side.
Okay, great. Thank you. How many people do you have with you today?
Around 34 now, 34 teachers around this area.
Okay, good. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about your colleagues or the teachers in your room?
Yeah, it's just they come from like the school in this area, right? Some of them teach in primary school and some of them teach in secondary school.
Okay, good. That's good information. Thank you very much. We will be doing some interactive activities. We'll be doing 3 different interactive activities. So I'll be calling on you to be my partner so we can do them together at both sites and make sure we involve everybody.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, let's begin then. So today's topics, some of today's topics include 21st century literacy, what it means to be a lifelong learner, not only for our students, but for us as professionals as well. English teaching profession and roles, and at this point, it'd be fun to get a sense of how many people we have working in what parts of education. How many people in the room are working with young learners? Students maybe ages 5, 6, 7? I'm looking at, okay, good. So we have a couple people here in Bangkok. Okay, very nice. That is very brave of you. Thank you for raising your hands. Yeah? Bigger, even bigger, all right. How about in Hua Hin? How many young learner educators do we have in Hua Hin? Can you raise your hand on the Hua Hin side if you work with young learners?
We don't have like a young learner, but we start from grade 1, right?
Okay, yes, yes. Okay, good to know, thank you. How about secondary level, high school? Lots of those folks here in Bangkok. Okay, how about in Hua Hin? So more than half? What do you think? What did you count? Hua Hin?
I think we have I think that might be 30% are like teacher from primary school and 70% from like secondary school.
Okay, good. We're going to keep going. I have 2 more categories, okay?
Okay.
Okay, next category, post-secondary, university, college level, tertiary, some people call it. Okay, one or two lonely souls. On the Hua Hin side, anyone from university level?
Have anyone from university?
How about vocational? Anyone working with vocational kinds of audiences? Airplane pilots, engineers, physicians, English for specific purposes. Okay, last question. How about any administrators, people working in administration? Come on, there's got to be a couple hiding in here somewhere. Yeah? Any administration on the Hua Hin side? Maybe not. Okay, moving on. We'll also be talking about learning readiness, what it means to be ready to receive learning, both as a student and as a teacher when you're in your own learner role. We're going to touch a little bit and acknowledge that we all work in a wide variety of contexts. One way to look at those is low resource versus high resource contexts, and there are opportunities and options for all of those, for everyone. At the end, I'll be offering some suggested resources, and in particular, an invitation to join a free, open, online course. It's called a MOOC, a massive open online course that begins in January. We already have 9,000 teachers from 160 countries around the world enrolled. I would like to see more teachers from Thailand in that course as well. So this course is offered by the University of Oregon and the U.S. Department of State. So if you're thinking about your own professional development and would like to try something really fun and very cutting edge, something new, I'll give you some information on that so you can continue after we meet today and have some, hopefully some activities to do. Okay, so 21st century literacy. What we're doing in our classrooms today and in our own lives as professional development is we are training the workforce locally and engaging in that workforce, at the same time growing world citizens globally. So the students who are in our classes now, when they leave high school and when they go on to university and they leave university, already from this time to that time, the world will have changed a lot, and it will continue changing. In my era, my father, my mother, my grandparents, Maybe they went to school, maybe not. They had one job all of their lives. They learned that job, and the job changed a little, but not so much over time. So these days, people enter the workforce. They start with one job. That job changes very quickly. They move to another job. They have to continue learning all of their lives, and that's true especially for teachers. We're going to talk a little bit about the importance of situating that learning in a real-world context. So to the extent that you and your learners can engage in learning and professional development in the real world with other learners, with other English speakers and educators, that's tremendously beneficial. So, in sum, we're talking about lifelong learners with the capacity to read and write, which are our traditional kinds of topics that we teach in our schools, but also the ability to think deeply, to be able to reflect, to make changes, to self-teach, to know when I need to know more. We say, I need to know what I don't know, and then how to go about gaining that knowledge for myself as a professional. And what you're going to see as we move throughout the slides in the presentation today is the occasional link out to the site. So this one is readwritethink.org. So I'm kind of sprinkling like Thai raindrops throughout the presentation, some suggested resources you can look at as follow-up afterwards. I guess if it was Thai rain, it wouldn't be sprinkling, it would be coming down very hard, right? Maybe these are Oregon raindrops. A second one to look at is this concept of critical thinking. I'm doing work with ministries and curriculum development around the world in a number of places. And what I hear again and again is that people are working with textbooks that still have fairly traditional formats. Lots of reading, lots of writing, lots of memorize the vocabulary, and maybe not as many opportunities for critical thinking, for creativity, as might be beneficial. Because we know as our students leave our classes and go out into the workforce, they are going to need those thinking, those critical thinking skills to be competitive. Okay, yeah. So criticalthinking.org is another site that has some amazing resources. And when I offer you these sites, all of them are free. All of them have been stable for a long time. They tend to have zero or very few ads. And the level of English, the accessibility to them is quite good, I feel.
Okay, thank you. May I cut in here for the sum up and...
Where's the voice coming from? Yes.
Yeah. ค่ะอาจารย์เลสลี่นะคะก็เริ่มต้นนะคะในช่วงแรกด้วยการพูดถึงว่าความจำเป็นนะคะของ literacy ในความหมายของศตวรรษที่ 11 นะคะคืออะไรบ้างนะคะอาจารย์ก็บอกว่านักเรียนที่เราสอนกันอยู่ในห้องเรียนนี้ในที่สุดแล้วเขาก็จะต้องออกไปอยู่ใน workforce นะคะออกไปทำงานแล้วก็เป็นประชากรส่วนหนึ่งของประชากรโลกนะคะซึ่งเราก็จะต้องไปเจอสถานการณ์จริงนะคะซึ่งเขาก็ต้องเรียนรู้นะคะที่จะปรับตัวให้ได้นะคะเพราะว่าแล้วก็อาจารย์ก็บอกว่าโดยเฉพาะปัจจุบันเนี่ยการงานอาชีพเนี่ยเปลี่ยนแปลงเร็วมากนะคะโดยเฉพาะที่มีเทคโนโลยีเข้ามาเกี่ยวข้องนะคะอาจารย์ก็บอกว่า lifelong learners นะคะผู้ที่มีทักษะในการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตเนี่ยนะคะจะต้องเป็นอย่างไรบ้างนะคะก็มีทักษะนอกจาก read write นะคะซึ่งเป็นทักษะดั้งเดิมที่เราสอนนักเรียนกันมาเนี่ยนะคะให้อ่านออกเขียนได้พูดได้เนี่ยก็มี think นะคะมีอีกทักษะหนึ่งนะคะทักษะการคิดนะคะโดยเฉพาะ critical thinking การคิดวิเคราะห์เนี่ยนะคะซึ่งอาจารย์เลสลี่ก็บอกว่าเท่าที่ประจักษ์ประสบการณ์ก็คือว่าในแบบเรียนที่เราใช้สอนกันเนี่ยส่วนใหญ่แล้วก็จะเน้นแค่ทักษะธรรมดา read write นะคะอาจจะพูดบ้างแต่ว่าทักษะที่จะเน้นส่งเสริมให้นักเรียนเนี่ยคิดวิเคราะห์เนี่ยน้อยมากนะคะซึ่งตรงนี้เป็นสิ่งจำเป็นมากๆซึ่งเราต้องเสริมเข้าไปซึ่งอันนี้เนี่ยก็สอดคล้องกับนโยบายของกระทรวงศึกษาในช่วงนี้ด้วยเหมือนกันนะคะที่ว่าอยากจะให้สอนให้เด็กได้รู้จักคิดนะคะเพราะการรู้จักคิดเนี่ยก็คือได้ reflect อาจารย์เลสลี่บอกว่าได้ reflect ก็คือได้สะท้อนนะคะถึงสิ่งที่ได้เรียนรู้นะคะได้คิด ทบทวนนะคะได้ make changes นะคะทำให้เกิดความแตกต่างเปลี่ยนแปลงขึ้นมาแล้วก็ได้ self teach นะคะคือสอนตัวเองนะคะว่าคือหาความรู้ได้ด้วยตนเองไม่ต้องรอให้คุณครูบอกเพราะฉะนั้นเราในฐานะที่เป็นคุณครูเราอย่าคิดว่าบทบาทเราคือการที่ต้องให้ความรู้เขาทุกอย่างไม่ใช่คุณครูในยุคศตวรรษที่21เนี่ยจะต้องเป็นคุณครูซึ่งเป็นผู้อำนวยความสะดวกในการเรียนรู้ของนักเรียนไม่ใช่ให้ความรู้เขาทั้งหมดให้เขารู้จักมีทักษะในการแสวงหาความรู้เองนะคะค่ะtelling the participants that at the moment the Ministry of Education is also trying to urge the teachers to add in more the critical thinking skills to the students as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. As always, we're on the same team. A point of business. I apologize. I should have checked in with you. Is pausing once per slide about right, or is that going to work? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you. So, along with the need for additional critical and creative thinking, both in our roles as teachers of our students and as teachers where we're learning and improving our own professional development, we think about the way that roles are changing in education, not only in Thailand, but all around the world, in countries everywhere. So teachers who have traditionally been sort of what we say is the ajaran is the sage on the stage, responsible for everything. With so much new information in the world, with this requirement that we create critical thinkers out of our students, we find ourselves moving more into a role as a facilitator or a kind of a guide. So helping learners choose their own pathways. And that's what I hope you will do as part of your professional development as well. Look at some of the many, many choices and options that are out there and choose the one that's the best fit for you. Whether you're a teacher in your professional development or a student who's in your classroom, we are working to create opportunities for active student learning, to empower students and participants with the ability to make their own choices about their learning. We also look to partners. Partners in your community may be the community itself, it may be businesses, it may be the administrators of the educational systems that you're working with, and of course let's not forget families. That connection between what we're doing in the workplace and in schools and home is very important, it's critical. It gave me so much joy to put these slides together for this presentation because I was able to go back to some of the schools I visited, in particular in northern Thailand, and this is an example of some of the lovely students I met up in the Khon Kaen area and had the pleasure of visiting and observing their school.
ค่ะก็ย้ำอย่างที่เรียนเมื่อกี้นี้นะคะว่าครูเนี่ยจะต้องเป็นอะไรบ้างเป็นผู้อำนวยความสะดวกนะคะเป็นผู้แนะนำนักเรียนนะคะนักเรียนเนี่ยต้องรู้จักที่จะเลือกอาจารย์บอกว่าเป็น pathway คือเลือกทางเดินของตัวเองนะคะแล้วก็ต้องสามารถที่จะมีความสามารถในการเลือกได้นะคะเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยแม้แต่การเรียนก็ตามการเรียนภาษาอังกฤษของเราเนี่ยก็ไม่ใช่ว่าเราจะต้องเลือกให้เข้าไปทุกอย่างหรือว่าจะต้องเป๊ะๆตามในหนังสือเรียนไปทั้งหมดนะคะก็อาจจะมีกิจกรรมเสริมเข้ามาซึ่งให้เขาได้โอกาสที่ไปแสวงหาความรู้ข้างนอกหรือว่าได้เลือกที่จะทำกิจกรรมอะไรที่เขาสนใจเองหัวข้อที่เขาสนใจเองนะคะแล้วก็ส่วนสำคัญก็คือพาร์ทเนอร์ซึ่งในที่นี้ก็หมายถึงผู้บริหารนะคะหรือว่าชุมชนนะคะหรือว่าครอบครัวเนี่ยจะมีส่วนช่วยส่งเสริมสนับสนุนให้นักเรียนเนี่ยเป็นนักเรียนซึ่งเป็นผู้เรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตได้อย่างไรค่ะ
Thank you. Another important factor in all that we're doing in our classrooms and in our own professional development is English's position in the world, at least for now, as a lingua franca. So it is a current language, as we all know, for in the world of doing business, in medicine, on the internet. As Oxford Dictionary describes it, a common language between speakers whose native languages are different. And yet, that leaves us open for speculation. It makes me curious, it makes me wonder. All of you in this room are experts in using English and in teaching English, and yet even though I've worked with some of you, I'm not really sure what that means to you. So I'd like to do our first warm-up activity with something called a sing cane poem. Sing cane. Sing cane is a number. Can you guess what number that might be? Thinking of Spanish, thinking of French. Sing cane. Sank is 5. 5. So a sing cane poem is a poem that has only 5 lines. Now sometimes when I do this activity with teachers or students and we finish at the end, they say, that's not a poem, it doesn't rhyme. It doesn't rhyme. So I will tell you up front that there are many kinds of poems, and as you all know, some of them don't rhyme. So this one doesn't rhyme. This is more of a kind of thinking of it like as a pond. So it's a pond with lots of lilies and stones in it, and they make a beautiful or eloquent formation. So all of you in this room are poets. Did you know that? Raise your hand if you think you're a poet. Come on, you can be a poet. Well, if you're not sure, we're going to help you be poets today, and we're going to do this first activity. And Alex and Ed are going to help me. And what's going to happen, and this is instructions for the Huatin side as well. So on the Huatin side, what I'll be asking you to do is to break the group into 4 groups, 4 subgroups. One group will get pink paper. One group will get green paper. Another group will get yellow paper. Thank you, Ed. Moving into the picture. And the 4th group will get blue paper. And I'd like you to use this paper to draw very big words. And to draw the very big words, we're going to give you very big markers, right? So each of the groups, within each group, each person should have a piece of paper and a marker. So I'd like to get something from each person, okay? This is not a test. It is an example of critical and creative thinking. It is open-ended. So any response you give, anything you write on the paper is automatically right. Okay, there is no right or wrong. It's all good. Okay, so we're going to go very slowly through the instructions. Looking here, we have, where does the class end? The gray desks in the back. Are you my class, or you're my class too? Okay, good. How about the gentlemen in the yellow shirts? Are they my class? Are they going to write poems today? Okay, good. Okay, so let's do, I think if we do like 2 rows each. So I think if we do this as section 1, okay, so these got to all be yellow. And then these 2 rows as section 2, let's make them green. So this row and this row are green. How am I doing? Then let's make this row, yes, blue, and then this row pink. And are you together also? Are you working with them? Yeah? Okay, good. So they'll have something here too. Yeah. Okay, great.
And so in Hua Hin, they can do the same, right?
Let's check in with Hua Hin.
Hua Hin,
yeah.
Hua Hin.
Are you okay? Hua Hin, looking at Hua Hin.
อาจารย์วารีแบ่งผู้เข้าอบรมเป็น4 กลุ่มเลยนะคะ You can divide, อาจารย์วารี you can divide the participants into 4 groups as well. Yeah, and ask them to write in the paper.
Okay. In different colors, right, Ajahn? Right? We have a
It's
paper
okay,
in different
yeah.
color, like each group with
That's
different
okay.
color. Okay.
If anyone happens to have a fat marker in your purse and you want to use that, you can too. I think I have one more. We can share. Testing. Yay, it's back. Thank you so much. She has a voice. Okay. All right, so let's see how this activity is going to work. Okay, so the title of our poem is English, and I have 2 titles for our poem already prepared. The lovely Alex, if you would be so kind as to start this poem on this board, and Ed, if you could do the other one. I think if you turn that board around, it becomes a cork board. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So you can start with that. All right, everybody in the first section. So here in Bangkok, everybody who has yellow paper, what I want you to do is think about English, and on your paper, write the one adjective for you that describes English. Just one, and make it big. See how Alex and Ed have very large letters like that? So use your marker to make big letters so that the camera will be able to see them too. Okay, good. All right, everybody in section 2, which is in my room, that's the green room, you are going to write gerunds, words that end in ing. It's a good thing we have English teachers here. Words that end in ing that describe how you feel about English. How do you feel about English? How do you describe English? So if I'm doing verbs with gerunds, I do running, jumping, hopping, okay? So these should all be gerunds, section 2, the green section. Okay, the blue section, you get to write small phrases that describe English. And by small, I mean just 3 or 4 words. It doesn't have to be a whole sentence. 3 or 4 words that describe English. Group 4, you are writing synonyms about English. So these would be nouns. So you write something that means English to you, something that's a synonym. Means the same thing for English, a noun. Okay, questions? Okay, adjectives, gerunds, phrasals, synonyms. Okay, how about on the right-hand side? Do we have questions there?
Yes, I have a question.
Hi.
Yes, how many gerunds do we have to write? How many gerunds do we have to write?
How many? Each person should write one.
Yes.
So each person in group 1 should write an adjective. Each person in group 2 should write a gerund. So you'll have many pieces of paper for each group. Do you want to say it in Thai?
ค่ะอาจารย์แบ่งเป็น4 กลุ่มนะคะ กลุ่มที่1นะคะ อาจารย์ทุกท่านในกลุ่มที่1นะคะ เขียน adjective ที่บรรยายให้ถึงภาษาอังกฤษเนี่ยคนละ1 adjective อาจารย์กลุ่มที่2นะคะ แต่ละท่านในกลุ่มที่2เขียน gerund นะคะ ซึ่งบรรยายถึงความรู้สึกของอาจารย์ที่มีต่อภาษาอังกฤษคนละ1 คำ 1 gerund นะคะ และอาจารย์กลุ่มที่3เขียน phrase ก็เป็นวลีใช่ไหมคะ คนละ1 วลีที่จะบรรยายถึงภาษาอังกฤษนะคะแล้วก็อาจารย์กลุ่มที่4ก็เขียน synonym ซึ่งมีความหมายซึ่งอาจารย์คิดว่ามีความหมายถึงภาษาอังกฤษนะคะค่ะคนละ1 synonym
So at least get half of the room represented that way. Yeah. Okay.
โอเคนะคะ
How are you doing? All right. Oh, we've got some long words here too. If you're finished with your pen, pass it to another table if they need
ช่วย
to
ส่ง
use
มาร์กเกอ
it.
ร์ไปให้กลุ่มอื่นนะคะ
Okay.
จะได้เขียนค่ะเพราะว่าปากกามีน้อยค่ะ
You've got a pen. Okay. We'll take a couple minutes to do this. All right. Nice. Lots of good adjectives. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. If you're having trouble thinking of something, turn to your neighbors and ask them for help. Would you like some help from the people in front of you? Yeah, can you turn around and work with them a little bit? A phrase is a little bit longer to write. Yeah. Yeah.
คำว่า head กับคำว่า leader ความหมายเหมือนกัน world กับ earth ความหมายเหมือนกันก็นี่แหละสื่อภาษาอังกฤษแล้ว
So an example of a synonym would be, for example, a rock and a stone, right? So English and what? And so it doesn't have to be, it can be kind of artistic. It can be kind of creative. So it can be anything that's a noun that, for you, it's the same as English. It's the same kind of feeling or the same kind of image for you as English. So let's do it this way. For me, English is like a what? Like a duck, like a umbrella, like a heavy overcoat. What is English is like a, what is it like for you? All right, let's take about 1 more minute. Would you like some assistance? Would you be willing to turn around and help work with her? The phrase is a little harder, it's a little longer. Would you be willing to help? Thank you. Group work, group effort, go team.
ทีมรู้กันเดี๋ยวงง
You guys have a phrase as well.
ถ้าพูดเป็นคำว่าภาษาอังกฤษเป็นยังไง
All right, we'll take about 1 more minute, then we're going to start putting those poems together. Let's do a check-in with Hua-Hin. Hua-Hin, how are you doing? Do you need a little more time? Audiences at home, you can follow along with us and do the same things. You'll be able to assemble your own poem in the end in the comfort of your own home.
Speaking, listening, writing.
Can you help phrase people write phrases? And the synonym people seem a little lost, maybe too. Okay, good. Good. What do we have here? Something else. Okay. Can you do it with a big marker? Do it with a big marker. Yeah.
ภาษาอังกฤษของเขา
Okay, Alex and Ed, what do you think? Are we about ready to start making our poems? Do you think so? Okay. How about in Hua-Hin? Are you ready to start making them on your side? Hua-Hin?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hua-Hin, do you have some kind of a surface, a whiteboard or a wall where you can stick them up so that we'll be able to see them and read them?
Whiteboard here, Leslie here. So would you like us to stick the paper on the board?
Yeah, so we'll do one example for you and you can watch and then you can do the same thing on your side.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm so happy you're there. Thank you for helping. Okay. All right. let's start with Alex. Alex, can you look around the room, and what we need is 2 adjectives. 2 adjectives. Anybody want to volunteer? If you like your adjective, you think it's strong, raise your hand. Okay, so here comes one. Okay, good. Let's get another one. How about this one? Can we use this one?
Is it the same?
There we go. All right, you got 2. Ed, you want to come pick a couple of adjectives? Raise your hand if you'd like to volunteer, yellow group. Let's do this one. And how about the one here? Okay, good. So let's pin these 2 adjectives up underneath English. Oh, okay. No, we're only doing 2. That's fine. That's good. There you go. I notice Alex is kind of folding her so that she can make room for all 5 lines as she goes. Thank you. Very good. Okay. Joaquin, are you able to see what we're doing here on the bulletin board? I'm having trouble tracking the cameras. So we've got English at the top as the title, and then we put 2 adjectives: international, useful. So we're going to wind up with 5 lines altogether. Soon came 5 lines. All right. Right, that's next. Okay, next is gerunds. Let's go get some gerunds. We need 3 gerunds. Okay, here's one. All right, good. All right. 3 gerunds. Good, get 3. All right, bring them on up. What comes next? Phrases. Phrases, are you ready? Blue phrases. I'm coming to look for the blue phrases. Who has a phrase? What have we got? Okay, nice. Very nice. I've got one. I'll take this one up. Good. Are you building, Joaquin? Building, building, line by line. Let's get one more blue phrase here in Bangkok. Okay. Okay, very nice. Thank you very much. Oh, our pen is emerging. And last of all, we need synonyms. We need 1 pink synonym. Okay. Is that me? That might be me. So this goes kind of in the middle, Wanda. Good. Okay, last but not least, a pink synonym. All right, it's a race. Alex and Ed, go get your synonyms. Come back. Oh! Joaquin, how are you doing? Are you building 1 point or 2?
ค่ะทางหัวหินนะคะ adjective 2 คำนะคะ gerund 3 นะคะ แล้วก็ phrase 1 แล้วก็ synonym 1
Oh, that's fine, yeah. Okay, we got a pink one? Uh-oh, looks like Ed's having trouble choosing. Oh, all right, bring them on up. Let's see what you got. Okay.
Career. Hey, teacher.
Okay, I know, you choose. Yeah, they both look good. Yeah. Okay, good job, Joaquin. Keep going. 2 more gerunds. So while he was putting those together, let's see what we got for Bangkok. You are poets. Good job. Give yourselves a hand. You did a good job. Yeah. And what this gives us is something of a representation of the perceptions or thinking about English in the classroom. So we have English, international, useful, knowing, traveling, practicing, development to the life, friends and partners. Lovely. Very nice. Okay, and on this side with Ed, we have English, beautiful, friendly, communicating, acting, speaking, the second language of Thailand, job, career. Very nice, okay. 2 very lovely poems. I'm sure if we kept pulling papers up, we could have another 5 poems in the room at least. And I'd like to point out that this is an activity that you can do with language learners of any level. Even very low-level learners can do this kind of activity and write a poem. Bahiana, are you about ready to read us yours? It looks like it's coming together. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
we are making.
So just waiting for that phrase in the middle there. Oh, she's fast. She's having to do it all herself over there. Okay, great. Excellent. Would you like to read it for us?
Yes, here we are.
Okay. Use around the world. Wonderful. Would you like to read it for us?
Sorry?
Can I invite you to read it for us?
This one is English, important, interesting, connecting, speaking, thinking, use around the world, communication.
Lovely. Just lovely. Good job. We clap for him too. Very nice. Okay. So this is also a form of critical thinking in the sense that if I use traditional teaching methods and I go around the room and I ask you to introduce yourself, we all have a kind of a script that we follow. So we say, my name is Leslie. I'm a teacher. I live in Oregon. So I can almost predict the kinds of things that you're going to say. Whereas with this kind of an activity, when I ask you to think, to give your opinion, to reach into your heart and tell us your impressions and your beliefs, I learned something about you in a different way. Very simple, very quick, but it gives me an impression of what's on the minds of the people in the room here today. So, very nice. Good job. Any questions or sort of wrap-up comments before we move on?
ค่ะกิจกรรมนี้นะคะอาจารย์เลสลี่เขาบอกว่าแทนที่ว่าอันนี้คล้ายๆเหมือนกับเป็น warm up activity นะคะแทนที่เราจะเข้ามาแล้วก็ต่างคนต่างแนะนำตัวนะคุณครูหรือว่านักเรียนหรือว่าพูดถึงบทเรียนนะคะบอกว่าวันนี้เราจะเรียน adjective วันนี้เราจะเรียน gerund นะคะก็ให้ลองให้นักเรียนนะคะใช้ความคิดสร้างสรรค์ของเขาให้หัวข้อให้ topic มาสักอันหนึ่งอย่างเช่นตรงนี้เนี่ยท่านอาจารย์เลสลี่ก็ให้ว่า English ว่าเราคิดยังไงกับ English นะคะให้ interpret ให้ตีความออกมาเป็น adjective เป็น gerund เป็น phrase เป็น synonym นะคะซึ่งก็จะได้คือคนที่คิดคำนะนักเรียนเนี่ยเขาก็จะคิดอย่างที่เราทำนะคะคือคิดขึ้นมาจากใจของเขาจากความคิดของเขา reaction ของเขาที่มีต่อหัวข้อนั้นๆนะคะซึ่งจากหัวข้อคำว่า English อาจารย์ก็อาจจะปรับเปลี่ยนไปอย่างอื่นก็ได้นะคะอย่างสมมติว่าวันนั้นอาจารย์กำลังจะสอนนักเรียนเรื่องอะไรนะคะอาจารย์ก็เอาอันนั้นขึ้นมาเป็นหัวข้ออย่างนึงก็คือว่าสามารถที่จะทราบได้ด้วยว่าเขามีความรู้มากน้อยเพียงไรนะคะคิดอย่างไรกับหัวข้อที่เขากำลังจะเรียนค่ะ
Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, moving on. The kinds of tests that we've been talking about today in the world of the 21st century learner is often described as being built within the theory of constructivism. To construct something means to build it. So while we're doing these kinds of activities, while we're teaching, while we're learning, we are constructing, each of us, in our own brains, in our own heads, our own worldview of knowledge about English. Another aspect of constructivism, especially in a social context, is the idea of building communities of practice. The option for students to work in groups, to work in communities of practice, both inside their classroom and outside. And for you as teachers to do the same as well. So I mentioned that at the end of the presentation today, I'll be inviting you to join the massive online open course, the MOOC, and join a worldwide community of practice as part of supporting your own professional development. In all e-learning, all online learning, whether it's the MOOC or other kinds of resources you may take advantage of, there are important elements to consider. One of those is readiness. So what we know from research and the literature is that all learners need to be in a state of readiness, in a state of openness, ready to begin learning. They also need to have persistence. So if I'm a learner, I'm in the MOOC, or I'm in a reading club, I'm working my way through a textbook all by myself, I need to have persistence. I need to be able to keep going even when it's difficult. I also need to be able to self-direct. So where do I go to find help? How long do I keep going? How much do I do every day? And these are measures that are important not only in professional development for educators, but for all areas. A lot of this research, in fact, came out of the field of medicine and nursing. So what we're going to do next is take a quiz, because all teachers love to take quizzes, right? Right. The good thing about this quiz is you can cheat. You can talk to the person next to you and ask them if you don't understand something. You can think about it. You can put your answer and erase it. You can change your mind. So this is actually an example of a quiz as reflection and also quiz sort of testing as learning. So there are 10 items on the quiz. So you need a piece of paper and a pencil, and you don't have to copy the questions. You only need to write yes, maybe, or no, or not sure. So very three simple answers. Yes, maybe, or no. That's all. Okay? So item number 1, and this is talking, when it says I, it's talking about you. So this is for each one of you. So you have to tell me if these statements are true. If they're yes, maybe true, maybe a little bit, or no. Okay, so number 1, I want to learn online. Number 2, I can use email daily. Number 3, I can use a web browser, something like Firefox or Chrome or Internet Explorer. Number 4, I like to use computers. Number 5, I learn well through reading and writing. So again, very quickly, on a piece of paper right now, pen and paper, yes, no, or maybe. Answer the questions, please. Yeah, you have them there, that's true. If you have the PowerPoint printout, you can write them on the PowerPoint printout. That works also. Yes, no, or maybe. Did you get a copy of this one? Yeah. So next page. Right here. So yes, no, or maybe. Okay, raise your hand if you're ready to go to the next questions. There are 10 altogether. Looks like people need a couple more minutes. Or they're moving on. Maybe they're moving on. Yes, they're moving on. All right, questions 6 through 10. I like to try new things. Number 7, I ask for help when I need it. Number 8, I try to solve my own problems. Number 9, I think about my learning. I know when I need to learn more. Number 10, I can organize my time well. Oh, you guys must be English teachers. You're going through these very quickly. Good job. You need a handout? Don't have. Let me see if I can get you some more. Excuse me. Do we have any more handouts? The people in the back don't have the handouts. Yeah. Huh? Lots. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's see how you did on the test. This is a very high stakes test. If you got a bad score, we might have to make you leave the room. I don't know. All right, are you ready? Here's your scoring guide. Every time you said yes, give yourself 2 points. Every time you said maybe, give yourself 1 point. If you said no or not sure, that's 0 points, and that's okay. It just means it's an area where you might need to make some changes. But again, it's your choice. And I just want to make sure that I give citation. This 10-item quiz is based on many years of research and a much longer inventory of questions from the Guglielminos and their body of work on learning preference assessment and self-directed learning readiness. So this is an actual scale that's been developed and tested and used for a number of years, just only recently applied to an e-learning kind of context. Okay, how are your scores? Are you happy with your scores? Yes, I see lots of smiles around the room.
Ready for e-learning.
So what do the scores mean? What do the scores mean? If you got 13 to 20 points, then you are a good candidate for e-learning, right? To be a good candidate for e-learning, you have to like computers. Yeah. If you don't like computers, if you can't self-help, then you're in big trouble in e-learning. So you kind of have to want these things. Notice that the scale is asking not just factual questions, it's asking questions from the affective domain. Do you like to learn this way? Are you comfortable with? Do you feel confident doing these things? These kinds of affective factors are very important for learning readiness. If you score 10 to 13 points, maybe you're ready for e-learning. Maybe you want to go back and sort of look at some of the areas where you're not comfortable. If it's an area you want to make improvement in, you can do that to become more ready for e-learning. If not, then maybe e-learning is just not a good fit for you. We all learn in lots of different ways. Multiple intelligences, different learning styles. E-learning is not for everyone, and that's okay too. So again, there is no bad score here. There is no bad score. This is a reflective kind of tool. If you'd like to try the online version, this is a website that hosts it, and you can go and do it online, and it kind of calibrates it all there for you. So if it's something you want to do, if you're a teacher trainer, you're an online course developer, or you just want to do it for fun with your friends, you can do that there. Should I pause?
ค่ะจากแบบสอบถามที่ท่านอาจารย์เลสซี่อาจารย์ทำนี่นะคะก็เป็นการดูว่าอาจารย์เนี่ยมีความพร้อมไหมที่จะเป็นออนไลน์ learners นะคะ e-learners นะคะซึ่งก็อันนี้ก็หลายท่านน่าจะ yes นะคะเพราะว่าสมัยนี้เราก็อยู่หน้าคอมพิวเตอร์กันแทบจะตลอดเวลานะคะแล้วก็รวมถึงนักเรียนของเราด้วยเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยก็อาจารย์ก็จะเห็นว่าความรู้นะคะแหล่งความรู้ในกว้างไกลไม่ใช่เฉพาะมีอยู่ในหนังสือนะคะและทักษะที่นักเรียนต้องการเนี่ยไม่ใช่เฉพาะการอ่านการเขียนการใช้คอมพิวเตอร์ในการแสวงหาความรู้ไม่ใช่ใช้คอมพิวเตอร์ในการเล่นเกมอย่างเดียวเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยบทเรียนของเราควรจะบูรณาการนะคะเรื่องคอมพิวเตอร์นะคะการใช้ทักษะทาง IT เนี่ยให้ถูกต้องเหมาะสมกับนักเรียนด้วยในการแสวงหาความรู้ด้วยแล้วก็สำหรับตัวอาจารย์เองด้วยค่ะ
Thank you. Hwa-Hing, let me check in for a minute with you. Do you have any questions or comments at this time?